The Pacific breathed in long, salty pulls, the pier boards damp with fog that hadn't yet decided to lift. Morning vendors rattled metal shutters open. A carousel organ tested a note and stopped. Seagulls argued over nothing. Near the rail, where the ocean slapped the pylons in patient rhythm, a girl sat with her back to the wind, hands curled around the rims of her wheelchair like anchors. Her name was Mara. 17. Dark hair braided too tight because loose strands tickled her neck and made her flinch. She wore a thrift store jacket with a frayed cuff she kept rubbing when nerves rose. Santa Monica Pier was her favorite place and the hardest one to love. It smelled like sunscreen and fried dough and rust, like joy and effort tangled together. She came early to avoid crowds, to watch the horizon stretch and pretend her legs were still listening. Footsteps approached too loud, too fast. Laughter, brittle as dropped glass. Move, cripple. The words hit before the kick did. A sneaker struck her wheel, jolting the chair sideways. Another nudge followed, harder. Her hand slipped. The metal rail rang as her shoulder knocked it. The ocean didn't change its mind. It kept breathing. Mara tasted iron. She focused on not crying because crying always made them louder. She thought of her mother's night shift, of the apartment window that whistled when the wind came right, of the promise she'd made to be brave in public spaces. She pulled herself upright, jaw locked, eyes on the water as if it could pull her out of this moment by force. Engines answered. At first it was only a low vibration, a sound that belonged to distance. Then it grew, braided and steady, rolling up the planks like a tide made of steel. Heads turned. Laughter faltered. From the far end of the pier, motorcycles flowed in dozens, then more leather and denim, chrome catching the thin sun. They moved with a quiet precision, easing off throttles, boots touching down as one. A ring formed. The bullies found themselves inside it. No one shouted. No one raised a fist. Helmets came off. Faces appeared creased, brown, pale, tattooed, soft-eyed, scarred. A woman with silver hair tied in a red scarf leaned her bike onto its stand. A man with hands like knotted rope crossed his arms. The engines idled, a protective hum. Mara's breath stuttered. She felt the circle before she saw it, warmth replacing the cold that had crept into her bones. A biker knelt in front of her, slow and careful, eyes level with hers. He smelled faintly of oil and peppermint. "You okay?" he asked, like it mattered. She nodded, then shook her head. The truth fell out. I know, he said. You don't have to explain. Behind him, another rider spoke, not loud, not threatening. You need to go. It wasn't addressed to anyone specific, but it landed. The bullies backed away, their bravado leaking out through their sneakers, swallowed by the pier's noise. A few phones were raised. A few lowered again. A jacket appeared over Mara's shoulders. The silver-haired woman had draped it there, tucking it like a blanket. "Wind's sharp today," she said. Her voice carried a smile. As the ring loosened, a rhythm emerged: clanks of kickstands, the creak of leather, the soft clatter of a thermos lid. Someone offered water. Another fixed her crooked footrest without asking permission, hands gentle, practiced. That's when Mara noticed the patches. Wheels, ribbons, dates stitched in thread that had been mended more than once. Names. A small emblem repeated on many backs, a pier silhouette wrapped by waves. The man who had knelt leaned back on his heels. "We meet here on Thursdays," he said, as if confessing something ordinary. Most of us didn't start riding because we wanted to be loud. We started because sitting still hurt too much. The silver-haired woman pulled back her scarf, revealing a thin line along her neck. My daughter loved this place, she said. She used a chair too. She said the ocean made her feel taller. A pause settled, respectful and deep. Engines cut. The sea filled the space they left. Mara felt something unclench inside her. Not fear, recognition. These weren't saviors. They were witnesses who refused to look away. People who had learned how to hold a line without crossing it. When they finally rolled out, they did it slowly, bikes peeling off in pairs, waves returning to waves. The last rider waited until Mara nodded. Then he tapped his helmet and followed the sound of the ocean back into traffic. Mara stayed a while after. The pier warmed. The carousel found its tune. She smoothed the frayed cuff of her jacket and watched the horizon widen. Some lessons arrive like sermons. Others come as a circle that closes when it has to, opens when it should, and leaves you standing still yet steadier than before. If this story touched your heart and moved you in any way, please like the video, comment, share it with someone who need a little hope today, and make sure you subscribe to Humanity Diaries. Your support help us continue emotional and meaningful stories to the world. Please comment below which part of story touched you the most.